because it's not the sermon focus, because it only comes around once every 3 years or so, let me point you one more time to Philemon. That's the entire book. Well, minus 2 verses, they're just concluding verses. It's a fun book. You want to know why? It's an amazing example of Paul being really passive-aggressive. He has a point of view he wants Philemon to do, but he's going to go about it in the most odd, roundabout way possible. But he makes his point. So he says, I could command you, but I'd rather appeal to you in love. And then he says, anything he owes you, charge to me, though of course you owe your entire life to me. So Paul's pretty clear what he's trying to do. It's a really hilarious letter. I give it to you for your amusement and enjoyment, because it's a whole lot of fun. Now let us pray. Holy and gracious God, we ask your blessing upon this time, your Spirit in this place. Speak to us, move through us. Help us to hear your word for us this day. We pray in your Son's name. Amen. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn around and slam the door. That is, of course, the song Let It Go from the movie Frozen. And in the movie, it's about Elsa, the queen, letting go of societal expectations that kept her from being her best self. Letting go of things that had kept her from exploring her talents and gifts that kept her in fear of being who she wanted to be. It's about finding the strength to embrace all of whom she is, seeing herself fully. Of course, the strength to do that, while also existing in society, won't come until much later in the movie. On this day, we celebrate our Christian education ministry, and especially our Sunday school. And as you might be aware, our Sunday school has a lot of children in it. So it feels appropriate to lead off the sermon on this rally day with a Disney movie for kids. But that's not really why I chose this song. I chose it because Jesus in this morning's gospel is inviting us to let it go. To let go of all the things that can keep us from God, all the things that will keep us from allowing God's will and ways to become our own. That's what he's really saying to us in the gospel passage this morning. The words themselves are pretty harsh. Hate family, hate life, hate your possessions, give everything you own away, and be poor and destitute. Well, we all own cars, and many of us own houses and books and stuff, so we might be in trouble. Except I don't think Jesus really means we can't own anything. He's using a bit of hyperbole. I mean, Jesus is the one who is such a partier when gathering with people together that his opponents called him a drunkard. He was the one who, when asked about family, said to his followers, "You are my family. You are my brothers and sisters, mother and father, aunts and uncles and cousins." Jesus saying we really ought to hate all these things and meaning it, literally? That doesn't feel like the Jesus I know in the rest of the Gospels. However, Jesus using hyperbole and a rhetorical flourish to say to us that all of those things must have a lower priority to God, that feels like Jesus to me. And that's what I think he's doing in this passage. He's saying to us that none of these things, family, life, possessions, ought to be placed above God on our priority list. They shouldn't become idols for us, in other words, above our Creator. So what are these things that Jesus invites us to let go, or at least to place in lower priority? Well, they're the things that Jesus names here, and that they're the things that frankly are the biggest culprits of keeping us from God, of keeping us from following in God's ways. They're the biggest idols, both in Jesus' time and our own. They become things that separate us from our Creator. Our families. That includes everything from allowing what we see as care for our children to overschedule our calendars and our lives and leave no space to breathe, whether in activities or work or etc. Or the tendency, and a very human tendency I might add, to think about our families at the exclusion of all other families. In Jesus' day, a comment on family also meant comments about senses of shame and honor. In his society, a lot of your status was built into who your family was, and how you interacted and cared for your family. Which, to be fair, is not all a bad thing. Families need caring for, after all. But when Jesus says to put your family as a lower priority in your life, part of what he's saying is to put your status, your honor systems in lower priority to God. Speaking of which, Jesus tells us to let go of our possessions, our stuff. I think almost, I don't need to explain this one, do I? Our consumeristic culture, where we judge ourselves so often in part on how we compare to others in wealth and status and the quality of our stuff, who has the best stuff and the really good stuff, it's indisputable. But our possessions, our wealth, our stuff can be an idol for us. There's perhaps no way to overstate this case, so let me put it plainly. Our desire for possessions and wealth can and does sometimes keep us from God and God's ways. And Jesus both understands this and wants to warn us against this tendency, because when it happens, it is contrary to the ways of being Christian. Now, this was true for those in Jesus' day, true, so we're not alone, but it's still a need watch for. Because our lives, the very enjoyment of the gifts of God, of our beautiful world, can that be an idol? Well, yes. Whenever we allow what feels good, what we want to do, or even what brings us joy, to supersede the will and ways of God, or distract us from what God is calling us to do, then even our moments of joy and pleasure can be an idol we have to overcome and let go. Now, none of these things are bad by themselves. Most of them are pretty good. The problem comes not when we have families or possessions or life that we enjoy. So we allow those things to be idols. We allow those things to come between us and our God, us and our faith, us and our walk of discipleship. Then we have to find the strength to let them go. That's the cost. Make no mistake. It is indeed the cost of discipleship, and a cost we are called to count as we become disciples of Jesus Christ. And a part of the role of our Christian education program, and indeed of our teachers, is to help us count that cost, to help us enter into it with eyes wide open, to help us know what it means to be a disciple long before we choose to be one. Our Sunday school for kids, and especially for our adults, part designed to help us count that cost of discipleship. But the other role is to help us see the other side of that cost. You see, everything has a cost, doesn't it? It just does. Any choice we make has consequences and cost, good or otherwise. We can't make a decision that leading to something or somewhere. And so while there is indeed a high cost for following Christ, there is also a cost for those moments when we don't follow Christ. There is a cost when we let go of those things that distract us from God, yes. But when we do that letting go, we also let go of the costs that were already present. Perhaps didn't see those costs that were there when we didn't walk in the ways of God. So we let go of needing to feel perfect as parents or homemakers or students or children or spouses and more. We let go of the need to measure ourselves against other families, especially seeing them at their best and we feel our worst. And instead begin to measure ourselves against the grace and love of God that sees us for who we are, what we can be, declares us enough. We begin to let go of the cost of feeling unworthy, receive the gift of our Creator that says we're already loved by God. We let go of the need to have the newest and the best of everything, to keep up with the Joneses, if you will. We let go of the societal idea that this or that or the other thing will help us be happy or successful. We let go of the need to work ourselves to the bone just to buy this or that or the other thing. We indeed let go of our old ideas of success and find new ones to better reflect the will and ways of God. We let go of the need we have for control, of any false sense of security that says our lives can never be totally risk-free. And of course, the idea that our own wants are more important than the world's needs. Those things I just mentioned, they're the cost when we don't walk in the ways of God. They're the cost when we allow family or ourselves or our possessions and wealth to become idols between us and our Creator. And they too are a high cost. They're hard to bear. And our choice really becomes, which cost are we most willing to pay? Because there's always a cost. Here's the thing. If we count the cost of discipleship, I believe we will find joy there. Joy in the ways of Christ. Joy that exists despite the cost. And a part of our Christian education program, the work of our teachers, is to help us find also that joy. Imagine family life where we find ways to simply be our best with one another as individual families and as a community of faith, a family of God. Imagine we could simply enjoy what we have without coveting others and what they have. If we could enjoy the blessings of God for what they are and not spend time pondering what they might otherwise be. Imagine if we took life as it came, not assuming safety is not there anyway, but also not neglecting to enjoy each other, each other's company each and every day, nor forgetting that there are other children of God who need the love of Christ that we have to share. Imagine those joys, those blessings. That's the joy of discipleship. That's the joy of following in the ways of Christ. Because I think it outweighs the cost. A large part of our Christian education program is to help us find ways to imagine it. Help us find ways to get there. To find the joy even in the cost of discipleship. By so doing, help us change the world. In Frozen, Elsa lets go of so much during the song Let It Go, even throws the glove in the air. But it takes help for her to find ways to both be free in who she's called to be and exist in the community and society. It's true for us as well. We need each other. We need the gift of Christian education, of our Sunday school, of our teachers, and ourselves to find ways to both count the cost that already exists in our society, the cost of discipleship, and find the joy of being together as disciples, walking together in Jesus Christ. So on this day, when we honor our Christian education programs, let us be thankful for the ways that they help us to count the cost, the ways that they help us to walk as disciples, and the ways they help us to find joy as well. Then let us commit ourselves to walking just that walk, finding joy even in the cost, this day and always. Amen. Let us sing.